Alright, this lesson covers solving multi-step inequalities. So remember, our rules for solving inequalities are the same as our rules for solving equations. The only difference is if we are using a method where we multiply or divide by a negative, it's going to flip our symbol over. Some inequalities can have so many steps that sometimes you have to flip them a couple of times, but just be careful as you're working across. Most of ours will just flip once if they flip at all. Alright, so our first one will be negative 11y minus 13 is greater than 42. So I'm going to first add 13 to both sides. So I'll have negative 11y is greater than 55. Then I'm going to divide both sides by negative 11. Now, I'm using a division by negative 11, so remember that's going to flip that symbol over as I'm working. So this side here will become just a y, and over here 55 divided by negative 11 will be negative 5. Alright, up here on the other side we've got 23 is greater than or equal to 10 minus 2w. So to start solving, I'm going to subtract 10 from both sides because that's a positive 10. So 13 is greater than or equal to negative 2w. Now I'm going to divide by negative 2 on both sides. So remember, what happens is I flip this symbol over and it's going to become less than or equal to. Now over here you could go to a decimal since it's a terminating decimal, but remember a fraction is also fine. So I'm going to leave that 13 over 2 and make sure my fraction's negative. Top, bottom, or out in the middle does not matter. Over here we're just going to get a w. Now if I were graphing this, I might would want to turn this around. Remember, just turning it around for graphing is not the same as multiplying or dividing by a negative. So if you write w, look here, it's pointed with the opening towards w, so you'd want to make sure the opening is still towards w there, and that would make it easier if you were going to graph. So I'll put an or here because I'm fine with it in this other form without switching it around. Alright, this one, let me rewrite it over here. 43 is greater than negative 4y plus 11. So we're going to subtract the 11 from both sides. So we'll have 32 is greater than negative 4y. Now we're going to divide by negative 4. So again, as soon as I know I'm dividing by a negative to solve, I'm going to flip that symbol over. 32 divided by negative 4 is negative 8. And over on this side is y. If you're not asked to graph, leave your answer there. If you're asked to graph, you might want to switch it around. Y would be greater than negative 8. Or just learn to read it backwards so you can read the opening first. Alright, going on. This time we're going to do some problems where we're going to define a variable, write an inequality, and solve. So first it says 5 minus 6 times the number is more than 4 times the number plus 45. So if we do 5 minus 6 times the number, that's the first translation, but I'm going to need a variable, so that's where I'm going to define the variable. I'm going to use x this time to represent the number. Now, as I'm translating, it's 5 minus this multiplication. So I'm going to do 5 minus 6 times my number, which is 6 times x. Now right here it says is more than, and as soon as you see that word is more than, that indicates the inequality symbol. So is more than would be greater than. And then translate the rest. 4 times the number, that would be 4x. And then it says plus 45, so we'll add 45. Now we'll solve. Two ways to solve this. You can subtract 4x from both sides, or you could add 6x to both sides, and that's what I'm going to choose to do here. So I'm going to have 5 is greater than 10x plus 45. Then I'm going to subtract 45 from both sides. Remember, subtraction does not change our symbol. So negative 40 is greater than 10x. Then divide the 10 away from the x, and you'll have negative 4 is greater than x. And if you need to read it the other way, start here. X is less than negative 4, or you can rewrite x the symbol was pointing to x and then the -4, and it'd be easier for you to read or graph. If you had chose to subtract the 4x from both sides, you would have had a negative in front of your x's, which would have caused you, when you divided, to flip your symbol to get the same solution that I have here. It is an option, but I like to keep my variable positive if possible because it helps me not make the error of forgetting to flip. Alright, trying the next one. 2 more than half a number is greater than 27. So this time I'm going to use n for the number. And then I'm going to translate 2 more than half a number. So 2 plus. Remember, if it doesn't have the little is in front of more than, it's indicating addition. Half a number, 1/2 the number or the variable that I chose. Now it says is greater than. So that's your inequality symbol, 27. Now when you go to solve, subtract 2 from both sides, so you'll have half n is greater than 25. To get rid of the half, times by 2. You're timesing by a positive, so it doesn't change your symbol. N is greater than 50. Alright, we'll do some that have a few extra steps here with distribution. We're going to distribute first, so we'll take 4 times 3t and have 12t minus 4 times 5 is 20. And then there's still that add 7, greater than or equal to 8t plus 3. Combine like terms on the same side first. So remember, on this side, -20 plus 7. You go ahead and do regular math there. -20 plus 7 is -13. And that's greater than or equal to 8t plus 3. Best thing to do next is to get your variables to the same side. So let's subtract 8t from both sides. That will leave me with 4t minus 13 is greater than or equal to 3. Now I'm going to add 13 to both sides. And I'm going to have 4t is greater than or equal to 16. And then I'm going to divide by 4 on both sides. And then I'll see I have t is greater than or equal to 4. Alright, let's try another one. We'll skip the first one over there. And we'll just work this one on this side. Multiply the 2 through the first parenthesis and have 2h plus 12 greater than. Be careful, you're distributing a negative here, so it'll become -24 plus 3h when you multiply the 2 negatives there. Alright, I'm going to subtract the 2h from both sides. So I'm going to have 12 is greater than -24 plus h. And then I'm going to add 24 to both sides. So then I'm going to have 36 is greater than h. Alright, a couple more we're going to try to get through. Let's first start with this one on this side. Let's take the 3 through the first parenthesis. We'll have 12m plus 18 is less than or equal to 42 plus 6 times 2m would be 12m minus 6 times 4 is 24. I'm going to gather like terms together over on the right first. So 12m plus 18 will stay. Less than or equal to, I'm going to write the 12m first and then look at 42 minus 24, and I think that's 18. And then if I go to subtract the 12m from both sides, it goes away. So we'll have 18 is less than or equal to 18. Well, 18 is not less than 18, but because of this equal sign, it is equal. So this is true. And we can't really do any more work because there's no variable. We can't really solve it any further. But it gives us a true expression, so that tells me that any number I choose will work. So we say our solution is all reals. Alright, let's go try to finish this one up on the side here. Be careful because we're going to distribute a -5 through this parenthesis. So 9t, and then when you take the -5 times t, you'll have minus 5t. And then -5 times -5 will be plus 25. Less than or equal to, and then let's multiply the 4 through. 4t minus 12. On the left, 9t minus 5t, regular subtraction there, that's 4t plus 25, less than or equal to 4t minus 12. Now when you go to subtract your variables so you can get them together on the same side, they go away on both sides again. They're eliminated. So 25 is less than or equal to negative 12. Well, 25 is bigger than negative 12. So this is false. That's going to never be true. So this would be a no solution. Our textbook calls this an empty set, but a no solution will be fine for your answer. So if we get down, the variable's gone and it's true, all reals, get down to where the variables are gone and it's false, then it's no solution. Just the same way we did some of those with regular equations before. All right, what you're going to work on now, pages 298 and 299, you're going to do numbers 1, number 4, number 8, and number 10, and then on the section 12 through 34, you're going to do all the evens in that section.